Hey there, this is Dennis Anyone with Dennis Hensley. It's a podcast about making things up and making things happen, and it's time for our annual movie wrap-up episode, part 1, where we look at the films of last year as everyone's gearing up for the Oscars coming up in a few weeks. I'm joined, as before, by Glenn Gaylord. He's a senior film critic at the Queer Review. And we've also got Drew Droege, actor and playwright extraordinaire, fresh off his triumphant turn in New York in Messy White Gaze, which he wrote. He's also a film lover, and this is maybe the 5th time we've done this together. So, yeah, we're all about it. So we're going to look back at the movies of the year, maybe keep a Post-it handy to write down movies you need to see. I certainly have a bunch more after having this conversation. But before we get to part 1, I want to remind you that this podcast is something I do because I love it. And if you want to support it, there are some things you can do. You can go to DennisAnyone.net and leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. Help me cover my expenses. I really appreciate it. You can also order my new game, Search Party. It's actually in. I have them in my garage. We don't have it up online like Amazon yet. We're working on that. But you can buy it through my website. So go to youdon'tknowmylife.com/search-party, and you'll see a form there that you fill out. You Venmo or PayPal us, and we make it happen. So that's a thing. You can also become a subscriber to my Patreon and Substack. It's the same on both sites. It's Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. It's a 30-minute podcast once a week about pop culture and things kind of like we focus on in this podcast, but we end every episode with a little nugget about happiness. What makes people happy, tools that I've learned that help me, what the experts are saying. I like chewing on that stuff. I find it very interesting, and it's helped me a lot, so that's part of that. You can go to Patreon or Substack and search Dennis Hensley's Happy and Gay. And finally, you can become a subscriber to DNR Studios. I'm part of a group of shows, queer shows with Derek and Romaine, and for a monthly fee, you get my show early, and you get all these other great shows. So go to dnrstudios.com to learn more about that. All right, and here now is part 1 of the year-end movie wrap-up 2025 with Glenn Gaylord and Drew Droege. And I have to warn you, I can't remember names and movies and things like I used to. There is one point in this episode, or maybe it's the next one, where I'm trying to remember the movie Babes with Ilana Glazer, which wasn't this year, but I was trying to use it as an example of something. And I couldn't even get to Broad City. I was like, I couldn't think of Ilana Glazer. I couldn't think of Broad City. I couldn't think of Babes. I was like, she was on that show, Funny Girl, 2 of them. Funny. Like, I could not get it. So in a few more years, this show is just going to be, you should go see that movie with that guy. That'll be the extent of my commentary. I can't explain it except for it's not fun. Anyway, here's part 1. Joining me via Zoom from Los Angeles, it's Glenn Gaylord. He's a filmmaker with such titles as I Do, Leave It on the Floor, and Eating Out, All You Can Eat. He is also the senior film critic for the 3 years in a row GLAAD-nominated site, The Queer Review. And he recently launched his own YouTube channel for reviews called Glenn Hates Everything. He's UCLA Film School educated, and he knows shit about movies from the inside out. All right. So welcome, Glenn. Welcome back to the pod. And joining from New York, it's Drew Droege, actor extraordinaire, playwright extraordinaire, fresh off Messy White Gaze, triumphant run in New York City, and we can still get you on this podcast. I thought you might have been too big. I thought you might be so like gettable. You're so gettable.
Get me, grab me, feed me, feel me.
So before we started recording, we were trying to figure out how many years we've done this together. We're thinking maybe 5. Is that?
It feels. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Drew, before we dive into the movies of the year, I want to hear about your adventure in New York. Messy White Gaze.
Yeah, I wrote this play, and we got to do it in New York City on Times Square, and it was just a dream come true. And yeah, it was, this was called Messy White Gaze. I've been asked not to directly name the source material, but it's very loosely based, especially at the beginning, on a very familiar Hitchcock film about 2 gay gentlemen who kill their third. This time they're a throuple in Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
And they shove the body into a credenza, and then people come over, and so it was this wild 80-minute comedy that we did, from October through January, and we're planning more productions right now in possibly I don't know, LA, maybe London, maybe I don't know. So
yes, you have to bring it to LA.
Yeah, but it was really just like an amazing experience to get to do it in New York, and the play's set in New York, and we had a wild, just panoply of guests. You never know. Everyone says when you're in New York, you never know who's going to come to your show. And we had like Patti LuPone and Tony Kushner and Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton. I saw that picture. Yeah. I was like, that's amazing. What was the
Tony
interaction?
Kushner. You know what I mean?
Tony
like, I see people that are like, what? And Paul Rudnick and people that were like, oh, that's so cool that you came to our little garbage riot. So I had a great time with the cast. They're just brilliant cast members, and our director was great. So it was just a really fun experience to get to do that. And you have an idea and to get to see it realized, they get to put it up, and it's very stressful, and we were exhausted and doing 8 shows a week, and we're just constantly like, oh my God, we got to do another. And I keep reminding myself and pinching myself, like, I get to walk into a theater with my name over the door in, across the street from Aladdin and Applebee's.
There you go. What did Hillary say after she came back?
She was so great, so nice. She actually seemed to really like the play. They said she was laughing a lot at it, and she goes to theater a lot. I mean, she's always going to theater, and so she I think she kind of was briefed and knew kind of what she was going to watch. But she said something really incredible to me, and I feel like she's saying it to every artist and person that she's seeing right now. And she said, no, because we had this weird moment. I said, how are you doing right now? Like, I just didn't know what to say to her. And she goes, personally, I'm fine. And she said, but there's so much going on in the world right now, and no one has really captured this moment. So get to work. And wow. I was like, whoa, yes, ma'am, I shall. And I feel like as much of a compliment as I took, I also took that as like a really great directive. And I think it's something that, someone like that is telling everyone now, like we collectively have a job to do. And whatever it might be, if yours is to do a really raunchy story about a, murdering throuple in Hell's Kitchen, is that,
yes.
Great. That can be part of it. But also like, look at what's going on in the world and write about it and talk about it. And I thought that was really incredible that she said that.
I got a little chills hearing that, because I think, I love to celebrate artists. That's what this whole podcast is about. But if you look at our culture right now, Bad Bunny, it's the artists. Heated rivalry, that changed the world. Jacob Tierney and that team changed the world. And they're speaking to connection in a way that we don't feel.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just like, I think our artists are playing a role right now. And we need them more than ever, Absolutely. And I think sometimes you can't even worry about like what you're saying, like, or who you're reaching. Like, I'm sure when they were making Heated Rivalry, they weren't like, we're going to, but they did, because they were just true to what they wanted to tell and what they wanted to do. And I think that's something that people are responding to, is authenticity, because we have so many lies and so much misinformation, and we don't know what's going on. And so when you see something that is just like pure and people respond to that, but also I think people are just like every day getting more and more tired of the bullshit. And as heartbreaking and terrifying as fascism is, it's also boring. Yes. And I think it's our job as artists to fight the boredom on top of the evil. Yes. And to not just feel like, well, we don't work in a factory in this, and nothing gets up. But like, we're not all just going to fall in line and be automatons and just be like, well, we just got to do this thing because somebody's telling us to do this. As artists, we can't do that. We can't be that. And so I think it's important for us to all, we all can't, we all can do different things. But if we're all doing something and we all keep doing something, we're going to be okay. It's just exhausting, but it's on us. It's but
our
it
job.
Matters more than ever.
All in mind.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. Glenn, any thoughts on the importance of what art and stuff means in this crazy moment?
I feel it's like what we have to lean on more than ever. And I want to offer up my apartment, Drew, in LA, if you want to stage Messy Wait Gaze here, because it's messy. I'm keeping it real.
There it is.
So be careful. Be careful with your warning. I might very well come over with
a plug to your work.
A dead body.
And as a plug to your work, Dennis and I did get to see a couple of staged readings here in LA, in New York with it. So can't wait to see it all finished.
With the neon signs and shit, the production value.
God, that we had Alexander Dodge did our set, and he was just a genius. And it was just, there was some really cool stuff that he did with that. So, let's see.
Glenn knows this already, but I took a playwriting class in the fall, and I've been really into it. And I've written a play, and I'm revising it right now. But as you were talking about the Hillary Clinton story, you know when sometimes when you have an app open and it reminds you. So I have my play open in Final Draft, and right now the Final Draft icon in the bottom where all your apps are keeps jumping up and down. Like it was Hillary Clinton saying, "Get back to it. You got to." It was so It was so weird. It was it's like I'm still open. Listen, bitch,
get back to work.
What was it that she said to you? Get to work, because I'm gonna. Yeah, it's going on my dream board.
She goes, no one has captured this moment right now. So get to work.
So get to work. All right, I'm putting that on a dream board. I'm going to find a cute picture of her where she looks like she's saying it.
I share that with both of you and with everyone that's watching this. Like we all have to get to work.
I'm so proud of you for having that experience and for making it happen. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here and hopefully to LA. All right. So we do these movies every year, and it's usually a two-parter, and we all sort of come at them from different directions. So I tend to find like little unseen things that are like not in the Oscar conversation, but that I really liked. Glenn, how do you approach this exercise that we do every year?
So I approach it. I don't love to do top 10 lists, but actually I did on my YouTube channel, a top 10 and a bottom 10. But I typically like to just pay homage to the old Film Comment magazine's annual issue where they had moments out of time. Good movies, bad movies, all of them have moments that you can, like, this is why they made the movie. This is a great line of dialogue, a great shot, great scene. And so I usually think of the entire year in those moments. So I typically approach it that way, but I'm sure I'll have opinions of what's garbage as well.
All right, I love it. And Drew, how do you think of it? You have little groupings.
I don't really have a methodology, really. I just kind of see. I mean, obviously, like what I watch throughout the year, but I really keep my ear to the ground about what people are talking about. I also really follow a lot with with Film Independent, with their Indie Spirit Awards. They always have titles on their list. The awards are today as we're shooting this. But they have movies that I had never heard of, and a lot of them end up on my list because they're just like, oh, this is movies. So I have a bunch of those today that I didn't even know until Film Independent sort of shone that light on it. But I also try not to be snotty about it. Like I have some of these on the list that are, that are real popcorn movies that I thought were excellent, better than a lot of the Oscar nominated movies this year. So I try not to be too fancy with it either. But I also, I like a lot of the really obscure, really arty ones too.
There was one that you mentioned in one of these episodes that hadn't really come out yet. And then it did come out, and I ended up going to see it and interviewing the filmmaker, all because you planted the seed. And Glenn, you went with me. It was the one in Los Feliz 3. It's set in South America, and the woman is there, and ghosts.
Aquarius?
No, it was like a thing. This is what's called getting old, people. Chronicles of a Wandering Saint.
Yes. Chronicles of a Death Foretold, or Chronicles of a
Saint.
That's Maria. Yes. The Saint. The movie the woman dies in the car accident.
Yes,
and she's a saint. There's the movie. That movie is absolutely incredible. Yeah, yes. That was a Film Independent film.
Chronicles of a Wandering Saint.
Chronicles of a Wandering
Saint.
And that wraps up the episode. We figured out the movie from 3 years ago. Good night, everybody. Yeah, it's
Three
so
old
good.
Queens trying to come up with one thing together. We're like, wait, is it called? Wait, Tony Randall in it?
All right. So you know what? People have been waiting for us to really get into it, and they want to hear what we think of Ella McCay. So let's start with the big one. No, I'm kidding. I just picked a name at random.
That's weirdly because it's Ella McCay starring Emma Mackey.
God damn it.
Good God. I can't. I saw literally that on the poster. I was like, I'm out. I can't stand it.
Can we just say a couple words about it?
Yeah, no, I want to talk about it because Glenn and I went to a screening and the whole cast was there and James L. Brooks is back, and it had this sort of like excitement and we were all into it. And then I almost didn't write it down on my list. I felt so I don't know, uncomfortable around it, like embarrassed about it or something. Not for me, but I don't know. I was like, I guess I'll write it down. I did see it, and I didn't hate it. There were things I enjoyed, but there's something about it that feels like it's all, let's just pretend it didn't happen. But I don't know why I'm feeling that way. Anyway, Glenn, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I went into it, with this buzz of like, oh my gosh, we have the James L. Brooks movie the first time in forever, right? And so I was so excited, and it felt like he had studied his great movies and wanted to put little bits of that into this.
Yeah.
But I think you said it best. You said it feels like it was written by AI, an AI version of a James L. Brooks movie, because as it went along, you just got that sinking feeling like, wow, nothing is working.
Yeah.
What is this movie? What's happening? Why do we have all these subplots that make no sense? Like, we're in a car with, her security detail, and the minor security detail, who happens to be James L. Brooks' son, has this giant monologue in the middle of the movie. You go, who is this guy? Why are we listening to him? It just was so bonkers. But I did love Julie Kavner just being in the movie, because she hadn't been acting on screen in a long time. And I love when she, it's in the trailer, but when she is confronted by the bad guy, and he's like, well, you got to tell her this, this, and this. Like, okay, I'll tell her that. That made me laugh. It's the moment I was
Julie Kavner, that's a dream career. The older I get, the more that's the career I want. Be on an animated show.
Yeah.
Make bajillions of dollars. Go to the grocery store. And then occasionally be in a movie when I do the theater. I'm like, oh my God, what a dream career that would be to do that. But I do love her. I didn't see it. Like, you were the only two people that I've even known to talk about it. So I don't know anything about, but that does happen a lot. And I think a lot of filmmakers, that there's such legend around actors and filmmakers that no one gives them notes. And I also think they want to get home on time every day.
Yeah.
They want to eat dinner at 6 o'clock. So they just go, that was great. And no one's going to go, hey, should we get that again? Or that doesn't really make sense in the script, or that performance doesn't match up to that one. And so I think sometimes that's just what happens, is everyone's just having a lot of fun.
Right.
But then you get in and you're like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Glenn, start us off with something from your list.
I'm going to start off with my favorite movie of 2025, which was Twinless. This film by James Sweeney, who's writer, director, co-star of the film as well. It's his second feature film. I really liked his first one as well, but this one really came together for me. It's a film about, and I'm not going to say much, but it's two guys who meet at a twin bereavement support group, and then it's all twists from there on out. It was surprisingly hilarious and emotional. Dylan O'Brien, I thought, gave the best performance of last year playing twins. One gay, one straight. He shows tremendous range. And the moment from the film that really got to me was when James Sweeney's character tells him to role play what he would say to his brother and how he feels. And he just lets loose. And it was so raw and real in a moment that could have gotten syrupy and gross. It was just beautiful. I have watched this movie maybe 6 times now. I just keep going back to it, thinking these scenes are surprising. It's visually beautiful. He just takes chances as a director. So that's my favorite film, far and away, for me.
Yeah, I loved it too. And I tried to get an interview with the people, but it didn't happen. But I liked it so much that I went back and watched his previous movie, and I don't remember the name of it, but you might, Glenn. But it was really good too. You could see I did my homework and that I prepared to do it. But I thought Dylan O'Brien was a revelation, man. He was so good. And I'm thumbs up on Twinless. I'm all in. What do you think, Drew?
I thought Dylan O'Brien was incredible in the movie. I thought he was just absolutely... Sorry, there's sirens. Do you hear?
That's okay. You know what?
New York City.
Yeah.
So I thought Dylan O'Brien was phenomenal in this movie. And I thought it was a very clever movie, and the twist and everything. I have to say, it creeped me out so hard. I'm so fascinated that y'all loved it so much. I mean, I can't say it's a bad movie. I just was his character was just, I couldn't get on board. The whole time I was just like, no. And I love problematic, horrible, creepy people, but for some reason this movie it just left me feeling ick. And I don't know why. I wanted to love it as much as other people did, but.
No, I get it.
Yeah, it's got the ick. His prior film was called Straight Up.
Straight Up.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
There we go. Yeah, it's a guy's he's gay, but he's, sick of trying to date guys. So he tries this relationship with a woman, and it's good too. But Dylan O'Brien plays two parts in Twinless. He plays his twin too in a scene, and it felt like a totally different character. Like it felt like a totally.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah. It was really like, oh gosh, he's good at all this stuff. So yeah. Definitely worth checking out. All right, Drew, what do you have on your list?
I don't know if I have quite a few favorites this year. This is one of my favorites this year. And this was one that was a big one on a lot of, it was and it wasn't, is Weapons. I thought that Weapons was absolutely it's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I think it is, as someone who actually didn't respond to Barbarian like everybody else did, I went in and I saw it on opening weekend, not knowing anything about it, and kind of low expectations. Like, okay, the trailer is interesting. I really like this cast. And I was so riveted. I did not know about Aunt Gladys. I did not know any of that. It says I'm going in. And as I'm watching it going, holy shit, that's Amy Madigan.
Yeah.
Giving the performance of the year, in my opinion, just truly giving like a just unhinged but gleeful and terrifying performance. I also thought Julia Garner has been snubbed for all awards. I thought she deserves absolutely to be in Best Actress conversations this year, and I'm not quite sure if she wasn't in it enough, or if people were just all excited about Amy Madigan, or if they thought of it more of a genre film and they're only letting like Sinners be the horror movie of the year in the awards category or whatever. I'm not sure. But one of my favorite movies of all time is Magnolia, and it's very much harkens back to that film in a lot of ways, the parallels. Alden Ehrenreich gives an amazing performance. I just thought June Raphael is in it for like, it's just everyone in this movie is broken, is unhinged. I had no idea where it was going. And the reveal is so simple, and it has one of the most satisfying endings. I mean, the very ending moment is deeply unsatisfying, but unsettling. But the comeuppance for Aunt Gladys, I was cheering and laughing hysterically. And it is from the guys who did The Whitest Kids You Know, who have sketch comedy background, and they totally understand. And we've talked, I know, in here a lot of the combination with Jordan Peele and like sketch comedy and horror, and how there's a real connection there. A lot of people who enjoy and do sketch comedy are also big horror people. And it makes sense. There's something in the writing. There's something in the storytelling. I thought it was a masterpiece. I thought it was just riveting. I've seen it twice and can't wait to watch it again.
Glenn, what did you think of Weapons?
I mean, it's my number 2 movie. I mean, I love it.
Great.
And I actually attended a panel discussion of the nominated Writers Guild writers this year. And Zach Kreger was on the panel, and he said something so interesting about Weapons that I thought showed that he's a true artist, because true artists are never totally satisfied with their work. And so he talked about the one thing that if he could do over with the film, and he said, I don't think I served Julia Garner's character well. I did her dirty in the last act. He said, I didn't resolve her character properly. And it was always kind of bugging me watching the film. I thought, yeah, she kind of just vanishes out of the movie, which is like when you said she's not in it enough. I kind of got that feeling at the end. Oh, wow. She is such a big part of the first half of this movie. And then just like, she's not given much at the end. And I thought that was a wonderful thing for an artist to say, like, yeah, I love my movie. I'm proud of it, but this is a problem. But not enough of a problem. I love this film. I love the hot dog scene. And I just think that Aunt Gladys is just very calm, folksy way of entering into a scene and before she turns diabolical. It's so well calibrated. And he did mention that Magnolia was a huge inspiration for him for this film. So it very obviously shows when you see it, because it's not like your standard horror movie. It's very thoughtful. And he said it was about his childhood trauma, having alcoholic parents, and that Aunt Gladys represented alcohol, the chaos.
I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie. I was like, really, like, what's going to happen next? Like, super into it. But I kept thinking, what is this movie about? What's it about? Because there was one point where like this gun appears kind of in this kind of illusion. Is it about gun violence? Like, I wasn't sure I still don't know what it's about.
I think it was. I mean, I would argue, absolutely. I don't know. I don't know if there's, but I felt it was like a metaphor for like town hysteria, like this, the crucible in a way. Like, oh, it must be this teacher's fault. we have to have someone to blame.
Yeah.
We're going to blame her. And how the characters were already, what I love, like in a good horror movie, like in The Shining, the characters were completely broken and completely fucked up before the horror starts.
Right.
So then all they need is one thing to happen, and then it just explodes, which I think is the world right now, and definitely this country right now. So I felt like all the people in the movie were weapons.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it.
And that was my take on it, was that they were ready to just fight each other at any moment.
My favorite part of Amy Madigan's performance is like at the end when she's getting chased, she's running like a bad, like she's a bat out of hell. And it's just so funny and scary. And like, she doesn't seem like a little old lady.
She casually goes, "Oh no."
It's and just the image of the kids with their arms out like that. That's chilling to look at it on the poster. Like it's so powerful. All right. That's a good pick on weapons. Do I get to pick one now? One of the ones I saw early in the year was called Plainclothes. I saw it through, you could stream through Sundance. And we watched that. And it's about a cop that has been assigned to arrest people in the cruising bathrooms. I think it's set in the 90s. And he's a closeted gay. And he's been given this task to do. And he, all that struggle. Tom Blythe gives a great performance. Russell Tovey's in it. It looked like grainy 90s VHS, whatever. And I saw it early in the year, but I just remember the climax, the way the director staged that. You don't hear it a lot. Like it's, there's this confrontation happens, but I just thought it was really good. I was into it. Did either of you see that? Glenn, I think you saw it with me.
Yeah.
You saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it also has an amazing performance from Maria Dizia as the mother, who is just an incredible stage actor. And I always love seeing, I just saw her yesterday in Wallace Shawn play, and I just think she's always like top tier. And yeah, it very much feels like a throwback to a 90s film in the way it's shot and the storyline. And, I will say when I was watching it, I was like, oh, we've seen this before. We've seen this forever. But then I was like, well, it's still happening now. I mean, we're still... and so I was like, oh, I should take that back and, realize like, yeah, this is important to always see this. And I loved the way it just showed the malls, like mall culture, 90s mall culture.
Yes. Yeah. Cause malls are an endangered species. It's like seeing a dinosaur. It's like Jurassic Park. Only it's a mall. It's a Orange Julius. Glenn, what are your thoughts on Plainclothes?
I like the movie a lot. I do feel it suffered from what I like to call first-time directoritis, where he's trying to do too many film formats, squeeze in everything as if he's never going to get to make another movie again.
Right.
So I thought it's a little bit from overkill, but the actual idea, the core concept, and the way it resolves, I thought was really moving and interesting. And I liked how these characters weren't available to each other, Russell Tovey and Tom Blythe. It's just that it smacked of that early 90s closeted gay, we're only looking at each other as pieces of meat vibe.
Right.
And it had that really wonderfully suspenseful moment where he has to bust him in the public bathroom and not give away that he's actually been hooking up with the guy he's supposed to arrest. So I thought it had really great moments and was impressive. I was, ultimately impressed by it.
Nice. All right, Glenn, why don't you pick a movie?
All right, I'm going to go with Jay Duplass's triumphant return to filmmaking in feature film with the Baltimorons, which I think is the best romantic comedy of 2025 because it's so real. This does not fall on any romantic comedy tropes. It stars Liz Larson and
Michael Strassner.
Michael Strassner, right? And they are, for lack of a better word, a very schnooky couple. And that, these are not people that are usually the center of a storyline. And yet they are the beautiful center of this storyline of this guy who on Christmas hurts himself and needs to go see an emergency dentist. And Liz Larson plays the dentist. And they find that they have rapport, maybe not sexual chemistry at first, but they have rapport. They kind of like bantering, and it goes from there. And it's just told over pretty much a single night. And they are both so vivid. You feel their loneliness and their need to connect with somebody so beautifully in this film. It's so well calibrated. It's such a ultra low budget, very simple film that I was so captivated by.
Drew, your thoughts on the Baltimorons? Did you see it?
Yes, I'm only bummed that Glenn picked it before I could because I love this movie so much. I'm also, I have to say, I'm personally connected. I had the pleasure of being Michael Strasner's teacher at the Groundlings years ago, and we worked together a lot in a lot of different classes. And he's one of the most talented, dear, wonderful people that I've ever had the pleasure to get to work with. Also, it's very much in this film about how he's kicked out of a certain improv establishment.
Right.
And a lot of people have that story about that place. But Michael, I have to say, has a very specifically horrible, very cruel thing that happened to him at that place that is unlike anybody else. And the way, and it was something that broke my heart. Not just, oh, they didn't pick you, which was my story at the ground. You know, we all have had those kind of stories before. His was a very, very different story. He was able to not only like overcome that, but he put that into a beautiful movie and was able to make it really funny. I think movies about comedy are almost always bad and really hard to nail. When you're watching a movie about a stand-up comedian, a TV show about comedy is usually not my thing because it's very hard to translate that. And I felt like he made improv so beautiful and also so ridiculous. Like he was able to show improv in this love letter and also like such a slam in a great way. I thought he is like a star. I mean, he is such a perfect clown. What he does in this film, he gives this really wonderful performance. And so does she. Liz Lorson is another amazing stage actress who gets to shine. Not a false moment in this movie. I love this movie so much, and I cannot recommend it enough. Well, it's Baltimore. Come on.
I know. As I was going through looking at the movies that I saw last year, I was like, gosh, I didn't like that much. Oh, I didn't like that much. Oh, the Baltimorons. Like I lit up when I saw that was a movie that was on my list. So I agree with all of you. It just was like, it was just like this fun slice of life. And mentioning the thing about the Groundlings that you did, like you did feel like that thing like did a number on him. Whatever that thing that was that happened, even if it is silly, it did a number on him. And I related to that.
And I mean, he told it beautifully. He said as much as he needs to say in his own movie, but
you felt
it was something that you felt it. And it wasn't just they didn't, like a bitter,
get over
I
it.
coulda,
You didn't,
shoulda, woulda.
yeah.
Because it's like, who cares? Honestly, who cares?
Right.
It was instead, he was able to really turn this into something. And, I could not be more proud of him. And he's also nominated for 2 Independent Spirit Awards today. So
wow. All right. I hope he wins and thanks you.
Yeah, me too.
I know. That's awesome.
He better
win too.
Or I'm going to make a movie about how I wasn't thanked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sometimes it's I'm always a little taken back by how much awards mean to people. They mean a lot to a lot of people in weird ways.
Well, especially on small movies, it means people are going to see it.
Yeah.
And and that's just end of the day. Like, it's like, oh, we got this, and so I think it's,
Drew Droege, what's another movie on your list?
I'm going to go with a movie that I love. I love this series of movies, and I thought this one was particularly delicious, which is Final Destination: Bloodlines.
Right on.
I am a giant fan of the Final Destination movies ever since The Log. I mean, if people that know Final Destination, you get on a freeway and you get behind a log truck and people go log, and you know exactly what we're talking about. This one was so gonzo. It had so many. The only thing I hated was that I saw too much in the trailers. Same as another movie that's on my list, but I just stop giving away, especially with these visual gags. I'm there. I'm sat, as the kids say. And so that was the only thing. But the film, I mean, they're getting sucked into what is a brain scan, EKG, whatever that thing
MRI.
is called. MRI. Thank you. That's the words I'm looking for. Letters I'm looking for. I mean, there were so many creative deaths in it, but I also just loved that it was about family. I thought the performances were fully committed. Everything mattered. And I love any movie where the enemy is just death. It's coming for you. And it's just so I thought it was just delightful and exactly what I needed. And it's one of my hands down favorites of the year.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, but I need to. Glenn, what do you think of Final Destination, Bloodlines?
I agree. I mean, that opening sequence up top the like Space Needle-like restaurant.
God, yes.
So masterful. I love that it's a period piece, that opening. It feels so groovy and cool. And the music is great. I will never go to a backyard barbecue without checking my ice cubes.
Yes. Oh, that scene. Oh.
I was very proud. My friend Jeffrey Reddick created the Final Destination series. He didn't have much to do with this movie, but he's so super proud of it. He thinks it's also like a fantastic return to form. And I couldn't agree more. I thought that this was just a thrill machine of a movie.
I hope he gets a big fat check every time they make one of those. He should, right? Yeah. So I'm adding that to my list of things to see. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Materialists by is it Celine Song, the filmmaker? Dakota Johnson, she's always famous for me for calling out Ellen. Like that's the top thing on my resume. In terms of 100%. Dakota Johnson, she could make 20 great movies, and I'm like, she's the one that called out Ellen.
Yeah. Whistleblower. Deep throat.
You didn't invite me.
And it's Pedro Pascal and it's Chris Evans. Dakota Johnson is like a matchmaker, and she finds herself sort of torn between like this rich, handsome Pedro Pascal and the struggling actor ex of hers, Chris Evans. And it's talky, but I like what the ideas that it's chewing on. Chris Evans, the second he showed up on screen, I felt that character as somebody who has struggled with the dream. I just felt it in my bones. I was like, fuck, Captain America is killing me, and he hasn't opened his mouth yet. I don't know. There was something about the way he portrayed that. And then, like, Pedro Pascal, you learn things about his character that are interesting. And I just liked the things that it's had on its mind. And then there was that one woman that was one of the dates that had like a couple devastating scenes. And I learned things about dating, and apparently for women, height is big, big, big. How tall are they? How tall are they? How tall are they? And I just thought it was sort of interesting to chew on. And there were some wonderful dialogue scenes, especially between the Ellen whistleblower and Chris Evans at a wedding that they sort of crash. And and I like the poster. I'm a fan of the poster. So yeah, Materialists. I was into that early on in the year.
I have to put, I don't know why I have not seen this yet, because I've heard about it all year. I've meant to see it. I also love the poster. I love those three actors. I'm a big fan of all three of them. And I'm gonna see this on my plane tomorrow.
I was gonna say it's a plane movie. This is a plane movie. It's on every
plane, and I always go, I should watch that, and I don't know why I haven't. And so I am going to put this on my list. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And I think it did okay. I think it did pretty good at the box office for the kind of movie it is, because it's not a typical rom-com. It feels different.
It's a very good movie. It's almost an anti-rom-com. It's the rhythm. And it was the first film, and I love Dakota Johnson, but it was the first film where I think she took a note from her mother's playbook, which is relax it to a scene. I remember Melanie Griffith talked about working with Mike Nichols, whose biggest advice was relax into the scene, take your time, because she was probably trying to go for a rat-a-tat type of rhythm. That type of comedy. And you could see that with Dakota Johnson in this movie. She is super relaxed and just at peace with herself and her character. It's like you really feel like she's just existing as that character in this film. And I thought she was tremendous as well. I didn't think it was as great as Past Lives, Celine Song's prior film. Right. But I think it's like a really interesting movie about right now and about the impossibility of dating and how standards are just impossible. And that actress you talked about with that devastating subplot is really that was so powerful. Yeah, it sticks with you. All right. Well, Drew, I look forward to you letting us know what you thought about it. Yeah. All right, Glenn, what's your next movie? All right, I'm going to talk about a teeny tiny film that really impressed me called Rent Free. This is by a director named Fernando Andres, and it stars Jacob Roberts in a really crazy performance. It's just loud and talky and nuts, and it's where he and his best friend decide to live rent-free for an entire year in Austin, Texas. And they're inspired by spending their last day in New York City by not spending any money and doing fun things. But back in Austin, things don't quite go as planned, and they just keep hopping from one place to another, one disaster after another. It's very much like a gay slacker. It's very clearly inspired by Richard Linklater's film, but it's got its own crazy bent to it. And there's an amazing scene where they are, they're staying with this gay couple that I labeled the most toxic gay couple in the history of cinema, and who are just arguing viciously in front of them until they realize, okay, we got to bounce. It's a very episodic, almost plot-free film that just takes you from one disaster to the next. But as such, I thought it was just super funny and really about right now, about this economic nightmare that people find themselves in.
Yeah, I had the filmmaker and the actor Jacob on the podcast to talk about it. I loved it too. It felt like this bumbling friendship comedy with the sweetness to it. And, because so many times you watch movies or TV shows and you're like, how do they make money? How are they,
Totally.
what was it? The one with the yoga teacher that was in her apartment that was one of the girls that were, God damn, I can't remember anything. I really have to cut the senility. We're going to do another senility cut. Anyway, sometimes in movies you don't know how people get by, and this was a movie that did not have that problem. Drew, did you happen to see it?
I have not, but I put it on my list. It sounds great.
It's
I'd love
cool.
to see it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next movie you would like to talk about, Drew?
Oh, I'm going to say The Secret Agent.
Yes.
I was blown away by this movie. I love his other movie, Aquarius, casually sort of thinking it was that before. I am just so enamored with this filmmaker. He takes you on these rides. You have no idea where you're going. Again, I thought that Wagner Moura, I'm so excited that he's getting awards attention because it was just one of the best performances of the year. It was just so much fun. And I've been trying to tell people to watch this. It's a ride. It's a romp as much as it, and it's very sexy. It's, there's something that happens in it. I always love when one thing happens in a movie. You're like, what is happening? And it's just, it's not afraid to be ridiculous, but it also has these really beautiful, powerful, moving moments in it as well. It's also just like Brazil in the 70s. So it just, you can feel the movie, and it's very like, it's just very sensual and action packed. I was on the edge of my seat. I thought it was excellent, and I'm telling everybody to go see this movie.
I agree. I remember when the coverage was coming out from the film festivals, all of the coverage used this one still from the movie of Wagner Moura standing by this gas pump early on in the movie, and I'm like, that guy is so hot. That movie is on my dream board. Like, I don't know what it is. There's a gas pump, and that's him. Like, I'm just like,
right.
That to me is like, I'm in. The colors are really saturated, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And it did speak to like this feeling like there's always forces working against all of us all the time. It kind of captured the way it feels now in America.
Yeah,
where there's all these secret things going on and what we're up against. Glenn, what did you think of The Secret Agent?
Yeah, I mean, I'm also a fan of this director's prior film Bacurau as well.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, yes, I love that movie too. Yeah, of course.
Dabbles in the surreal in such a cool way because he integrates it with reality, and so that you have these WTF moments. The gas station scene is a perfect example where all of a sudden it just turns into like, what am I looking at?
Right.
And then you have the set piece, and you'll know it when you see it. That moment that is just like crazy, but it speaks about the untruths that we are dealt in the media. Yes. That's really what that scene's trying to do. I think this cast is unsung. This is a great cast. The woman who runs the housing project where he is staying is such a scene stealer. I loved, this is just like stupid, but one of the hitmen who's so hot, I just wanted a movie with him. Of course, yes. I mean, it's like, who is this guy? He's a star. And I just, everywhere I looked, there was like, oh, they're a star. The people he worked with at the agency that he's settling in. Oh my God, they're interesting. Everywhere you turned, it was an interesting performance. And it's just so novelistic in the way it unfolds. It's just like one weird page turning moment after another. It's a super impressive film.
Yeah. The faces of these different people from Brazil, like you really felt that you were in another place and experiencing it. in a really beautiful way. The next movie that I want to talk about, let me look. Oh, Sorry Baby. It took me a while to see this movie. Like, it was on my radar for a long time, and then I finally got around to watching it about a month ago. It's so good. It's so assured. It's quirky. It's funny. It's moving. There's a sweet friendship in the heart of it, and it's about somebody like processing something bad that happened to them and being able to move on. But I just felt like Eva Victor, I think she wrote, directed, and stars in it. Like, she was, sometimes you're like, oh, they're a good actor, but the directing not so much. She was like good at all of them, like in a very like, this talent has arrived moment. And I just, I found it like a little gem. I was into Sorry Baby. Did you guys see that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, it's one of those that I want to watch it again. I was interested in it. I did watch this on a plane, to be totally fair. And I feel like I need to give it space and not be in travel, because it's such a quiet film. I appreciated it more than I really enjoyed it, but maybe that's what it is. It has an amazing ending monologue. Like the ending moment and how it actually explains the title is like, oh, I did not see that coming. There's also a really effective scene that it's just a one shot, that it's like so much more effective than had they shown what's actually happening inside of a house, just the shot of the house.
Oh, I thought it was such an interesting
incredible
choice.
Like, I mean, I was like, this is really good filmmaking. I wish I liked the friends more than her. Like, as just I was as interested in them. I felt like when they were, I was sort of like, okay, whatever. I felt like I wasn't very patient with it, and maybe that was me watching it. Yeah. But it's definitely one that I appreciated. And it's on a lot of people's lists, and I would be interested in watching it again.
Interesting. What did you think, Glenn?
I'm a little in between the two of you. Yeah. I mean, I appreciated the film. I wasn't overwhelmed by it. I just kind of thought it was a mild experience for me. When it's actually trying to do that. It's trying to make something so, traumatizing feel a little more normal. And so it doesn't show the big incident, for example, that our main character is more humorous than you would expect them to be, And so there's a lot of sort of smirky humor in it that I was off balance watching it. And so I feel like the same way as Drew does. I think I need to watch this again, knowing what the tone is, that the movie needed to teach me how to watch it. Because I was kind of underwhelmed by it, even though I appreciated what was put into it.
Right. Well, it was one of those ones I waited and didn't see. And then when I saw it, I was like, this is delightful. So that's where I ended up on that one. Glenn, what's next on your list?
All right. So I'm going to do a grouping. First of several groupings. And so I want to talk about films that I love that I absolutely never want to see again. Ever. Those include,
I know one of them is
if I had,
sure.
Well, is it If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
Yes.
No. Because it's also Bring Her Back and The Long Walk. I think these are.
Oh my God! Yes. Oh my God! Go ahead. Sorry.
I think they're terrific films, but they have imagery in them that. Not so much with If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, that doesn't have so much disturbing imagery as just the entire movie is one big, long, nervous breakdown freak out. And so it's hard to watch, but it's brilliant. Bring Her Back has the knife scene, which when you see it, you'll know. And it's just horrific. And there's also a horrible drowning scene. And The Long Walk, I mean, you're watching this dystopian film about people who can't stop walking. And so you start to put two and two together. Like, if they can't stop walking, that means that any of their bodily functions have to happen while they're walking. And you see it. And you see heads blown off. And it's disturbing. But these were really effective films that I file away.
That was one and done. One and done. I don't think I saw any of them. Drew, did you see any of those?
I need to see Bring Her Back. That's like with the Materialists, another one that everyone's talking about. It's right down my alley. I don't know why I haven't watched it, so I will watch Bring Her Back. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I think Rose Byrne gives the performance like an incredible performance. She is so good, and she's not going to get. I mean, she's getting plenty Oscar nomination and everything, but it's just like I don't think people realize how great what she's doing in it. It's really, she makes her so believable and plays such an identifiable mess, broken person. I totally agree with you, Glenn. I could never watch it again. And I was riveted by the film. I thought it was just incredible. And Conan O'Brien and Tyler, the creator, is in it. A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is in it. And I'm just like, yeah, you have like a inventive casting as well. They were just like, they were both great. It was like, you have these people who are just like really, it was just a really, really well-made movie that I could never watch again. And then, yeah, The Long Walk, I was sobbing, screaming at it's an incredible movie, but again, oh God, no, never again. But they were wonderful. They were wonderful in it. So yeah.
There you go. I need to see some of them and then maybe never again. What's next on your list, Drew?
This is one on my list that I probably, in line with what you were just talking about, Glenn, is a movie that I love it was so uncomfortable that I could sit through it again, but it was one of my favorites of the year, which was The Plague, which is Joel Edgerton is a coach of a boys swim team, and it feels like Lord of the Flies meets like Cronenberg body horror. It's unbelievable. Some of the best performances of the year by these kids. These kids are all huge stars. I mean, the levels that they are giving in this. I hate child actors. I'm always like, stop, hush. But these, I was like, oh no, these kids are terrifying. And it's also incredibly queer coded. I feel like every queer person can watch this movie and go, oh, this was me in sports and how I felt. And it's about othering. And it was one that Film Independent, it was nominated for Best Feature of the Year. I had never heard of it until I saw the nomination and I watched it and I was enthralled. It's an incredible movie.
It sounds like The Plague doesn't sound like swim coach team. Like it just sounds like something else.
I know.
It doesn't sound, I don't know. I want to talk about a movie that delighted me at the beginning of the year. One of Them Days. The comedy.
Oh, me too. That's on my list too. I love this movie.
It's such a little gem. And after it was over, it was so entertaining. I thought, oh, this is going to be one of those movies that plays on the roof of the Mondrian, for 30 years to come. Or like, it felt like it had that gem of a kind of movie that people would go back to and enjoy. It is, it stars SZA and, Keke Palmer. And they're these two roommates in LA and they're trying to make ends meet. And Keke Palmer has this job interview at like IHOP kind of place, like some restaurant. Yeah. And,
she works at an IHOP and she gets the interview at the bank.
Yes.
Or
the corporate version. Norm's Diner.
Norm's Corporate. Thank you. So
she's going to be at Norm's Corporate, and she's really got her shit together. And it's just one of those a day in the life where everything goes wrong or whatever. But it was just so enjoyable, and it had heart. And though they were so winning, and all these funny people they meet along the way. I mean, a total crowd pleaser. I loved it.
I've always been a fan of Keke Palmer, and I think she's just really talented. But SZA is a revelation in this movie. Like,
for sure.
She really has these moments. You're like, she's an actor. Like, she's really good. I was laughing so much. I miss movies like this. We were so in the 90s. We had a movie like this every week that it felt like that, or at least 3 or 4 a year.
And even the ones that weren't classics that were like delightful in their own way. You know, those like even the ones that weren't great served a purpose. A movie that's like all in one day, like Friday, or like After Hours, or movies where you're just like you have this limited time, and it's not as dark as After Hours, but it's that same thing where you're just like one thing after another just keeps going wrong, and I love when that's done well. I cared about them so much. Yeah. It's also so hard. And, the Janelle James scene with the blood was so funny. Yeah. And it's like, there were just these, it just was pure joy. And, Iris Apatow is like the dick white character. It was so funny. And, I just felt like, and it's, this screenwriter's first screenplay. Wow. So I was really like, how excited to see what happens, with what they write next, because I'm just sort of like, this is like, it's a throwback, but I also feel so new and fresh because we just don't get movies like this anymore. Right. They had that duo friendship thing like Romeo and Michelle where you just root for them together and they bounce off each other so well. Glenn, any thoughts on One of These Days?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. So I only have three, which is the Biscuit Thief in that film. Biscuit Thief made me laugh so hard. It's so random and crazy.
I know, so crazy.
And there's a callback to it. It's just so funny.
Yes.
Yeah, things happen early and then they come back later. It's one of those crazy odysseys that unfold. Really. All right, Glenn, what do you got for your next movie?
I'm going to do another grouping because I thought that last was a great year for a very sexy, fantastic actor named Josh O'Connor.
Okay.
He starred in 4 films, and I loved all 4 of them. There was The Mastermind, which is Kelly Reichardt's new film, which I just thought was incredible. Rebuilding, which is super moving, about a group of people rebuilding after losing their land. Wake Up Dead Man, I thought he showed comedy chops and was really commanding. And The History of Sound, which I thought was just a beautiful film. This is an actor who knows how to play silence really well. And when he's given a lot of dialogue, he excels as well. But especially in the ones that aren't Wake Up Dead Man, he really knows how to use silence. There's incredible 10-minute sequence in The Mastermind where he plays the worst art thief you've ever seen in your life back in the 70s, where he's just trying to stash a painting up in a barn, up a ladder. And it's really dark and it's really hard to make out what's happening. But you're watching in real time him try to figure out how to get this big painting up this ladder. And it doesn't go well. But I love the juicy long take of it, and that he just really knows how to just be as an actor.
He's really good. Like, I remember when he played Prince Charles, and then he was in a gay movie called In God's Country.
God's Own Country.
God's Own Country, thank you. And I interviewed the director for that and the other actor, but not Josh. But like, he has been like a little like just killing it in all these little movies and building this great career. I have not seen any of those, actually, so now I have to see them. Drew, any thoughts on any of those movies?
I've only seen Rebuilding, sadly, and all the other 3, of course, I know, and I haven't seen the new Glass Onion, and I need to see all of these because I love him. He's really wonderful in Rebuilding, and not. And when he's one of those, you wouldn't think to cast him in that role, but he fits in beautifully in that very like Midwestern sort of, because he's so English to me, but he manages to do that really well. He's really good.
He's so good.
The movies. Yeah.
The movie, because it's just about the little things, the movie spends an inordinate amount of time figuring out how to get the Wi-Fi outside of a place. Like when you're sitting in your car near a place that has Wi-Fi.
Yeah. We've all been there. Drew, what's your next movie?
My next movie is, this is maybe this is a giant one that everyone's been talking about, but I am a huge, huge fan of One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see this. This was the movie I was the most excited to see this year. I love Paul Thomas Anderson. Obviously, I mentioned Magnolia earlier. I thought it was just so exciting, so moving. I thought it was funny. What was the name of the Christmas Society or whatever? Those horrible white people that are underground in someone's home. Aside from the incredible performances, you had like Jim Downey giving with 5 lines, just nailing it. So great. But, I felt that Teyana Taylor I loved her. I loved her in that, the indie film last year that she got a lot of 1001.
1001, yeah.
It's something like, that's the wrong name. We're horrible.
No, I think it's 1001.
It has some name like that. But anyway, I've really been a fan. But she really, I felt like I wanted more of her. Talking about you miss her the whole movie when she's not there. But it's an electrifying performance. And I thought that Chase Infinity was a revelation. I was not familiar with her before, and I just was. And I think Sean Penn, I don't know why he's not going to get another Oscar. I don't see why. I thought it was just, I love when actors go that big and I'm still like, oh yeah, I'm on board. It's a broad, giant swing of a movie. And it's like everyone is just playing it to the back row. Leonardo DiCaprio has never had more fun in a movie before. Benicio del Toro is a revelation. Regina Hall. Just everything about, and it is so prescient, and how they made it last year without, again, you can see how things are going, but just it felt ripped out of today's headlines. And, some of the best camera work I've ever seen. The car chase at the end, I was just like, I just feel like, yeah, it's he's made a masterpiece. He's made a movie that people will be talking about for 100 years.
Yeah. And it may win the Best Picture. I think it's a favorite,
Yeah,
but
and,
I don't know.
as it should. It should, I think.
Glenn, what are your thoughts on One Battle After Another?
I loved it. And I was happy to see Chase Infinity, and this is her feature debut, but I knew her from the series Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh my God, that's right. She's the daughter on that. I didn't realize that. Yeah, of course. Yeah, she's great.
She is a find. She's fantastic. Yeah. I love this film. I thought it was propulsive, hilarious. I love when Leonardo DiCaprio's characters trying to jump from one building to another and what happens there. It made me laugh so hard, and I felt something for a guy trying to connect with his daughter that I thought was beautiful. I also am kind of lumping it together with these existential films where the main character's just trying to move one step at a time, and to different energy levels in these films, because you have Marty Supreme, same kind of scenario where it's just someone just going from one thing to the next, right? And just trying to survive, stay ahead of things. And same goes for a much slower Train Dreams, which I thought was beautiful. And it's also a guy who is just moving from one horrible situation to the next, just trying to get by and experience life and maybe appreciate life, yet with everything against him. And so I thought this was a really interesting year of these big films like that, really connecting us to existentialism.
Yeah. I saw this movie twice, and I the second time I really focused on Chase Infinity and kind of focused on what she was doing and the subtlety of it and how brave and beautiful it was. And I love Leonardo DiCaprio because he uses his stardom to make movies where the whole thing is good. It's not just about showing him in a good light. And he's not afraid to play befuddled people. He's not afraid to look kind of crappy and like, not be a strong hero. Like in this movie, he's so stoned that he doesn't remember all the secret code stuff for the underground organization. So and anyone that's tried to remember their own password to a thing can appreciate him on the phone, just like losing his mind at being unable to remember the code. Like that is so funny. And
it's weird to say this because I know he's been a huge movie star for 30 years, but he's actually an underrated actor. The Academy has been such old farts about him. They've always been like, oh, that Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's like, because he was so brilliant in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He's brilliant in Titanic. He's brilliant in Romeo and Juliet. Like, he's always been great. And it's like, I don't know why this giant movie star. And when he finally won for The Revenant, people seemed angry about I don't know why people have beef with him. Because I'm like, when has he ever been? The Wolf of Wall Street is maybe his best performance. Like, He's always excellent, and I don't know why. I know it's like, oh, boo-hoo. He's had but why people? What people need? What do you need from him?
I know.
His range is unbelievable.
He's not only a national treasure as an actor, but I do love how he is really out there trying to get the best films made.
Yes,
He wants to get great movies made, and you can feel that drive.
Yes,
and I love that.
Look through his credits. There's no, that was a cash grab. There's none. Every movie he wants to be, and they all stand the test of time. And he's funny. He's really funny.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. And I loved the way the underground white people were depicted, like that absurdity and the banality and the kind of, I just thought that was so.
Tony Goldwyn.
And the more we're learning about the Epstein class and that world,
it all felt so real. I mean, that's the thing. You're watching a movie that's so broad and so insane, yet I was like, I believe all of this could be true.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. And Benicio del Toro, there was something about his humanity and his calmness in the face of this craziness. And
Sean Penn's walk, the way Sean Penn just walked.
And his tight Under Armour shirts and hot. And
that scene in the grocery store, the checkout.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Horrible in the best way.
And then at the end, it has this sweetness to it, this hope that like you leave feeling like, okay, we can fight another day. Like,
I'm sorry. Quentin Tarantino could never. He could never. I mean, the whole time I was like, because of that, because there's hope and there's humanity. And Paul Thomas Anderson is such an entertainer in that way and knows that, you know, that's why I go back to Boogie Nights, and people are like, that's such a dark movie. You're like, for whatever reason, and what is broken in me, that Boogie Nights makes me feel hope because of what happens to those people at the end of that movie, all that they go through. And it gives them so much humanity that you care about all of them.
Yeah.
And I feel like when his movies he loves people in his movies, and you want them to win. Yeah, despite how insane they are.
That's interesting. I think that's a great note to end this first part on. So we'll wrap up part 1, and we'll come back with more movies in part 2. So thank you, Glenn Gaylord and Drew Droege. Stick around, and we're going to have another chunk of more of this. All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks again to Drew and Glenn. Stick around for part 2. It's coming up in a future episode, probably next week, but maybe not. I've got a lot of episodes I'm juggling with different projects that they're tied to and timing and stuff. Is very exciting in Dennis Anyone world. All right, so this happened. This is just a few days after Valentine's Day that I'm recording this. And so I went to Jackie Beat's show at Casita del Campo with my friend Danny. That's how we celebrated Valentine's Day. Jackie Beat makes me laugh harder than almost any human I can think of. I am helpless with laughter during her shows. She sings these song parodies, and her asides to the audience. There was Casita del Campo is this wonderful Mexican restaurant here in Los Angeles, and there's a place in the basement called the Cavern Club Theater, and Mr. Dan is the proprietor of it, and so many fun queer shows happen there. But anyway, they serve drinks at Casita del Campo, so these shows are notorious for having people in the audience that have maybe had a few too many. And this was the case at Jackie's show on Saturday night. And there's one woman that just was like, thought she was part of the show and was like talking and like piping in and all of this stuff. And Jackie was getting clapping back at her in such a funny way. At one point, the woman said, "Shit." And Jackie goes, "Well, you're just one letter off. We want shut." And at one point during her show, it may have been through dealing with this crazy drunk person, or it may have just been her brilliant song parodies and comedy, I lurched forward with laughter, and then I kind of came up too fast, and I got lightheaded, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to pass out. I did not, but the point is I almost literally died laughing. Jackie is this mix of very smart humor and very dumb humor that I love so much. The Mismatch Game kind of has that too. It's very smart and really dumb at the same time. And one of her song parodies was to that song REO Speedwagon, I Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore. And it's about somebody who's been fucked so many times up the ass that they got no ass feeling anymore. It makes me, I got no ass feeling anymore. Just something about the way the phrasing is a little awkward, like ass feeling. Who says that? You might say I got no feeling in my ass no more, but that doesn't go with the song. Baby, I got no ass feeling anymore. Anyway, if Jackie Beat is ever within 400 miles of you doing a show, buy a ticket and go. I mean, nobody makes me laugh harder. And it was a perfect Valentine's Day. All right, that's enough for this week. Shout out to Oscar Rosario for mixing the episodes. My dog Enzo is flopping around on the bed like a crazy seal. I might mention my theme music is by Mark Danos for Replacement Music. Catch you next time on Dennis Anyone. Bye.